Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be touching on something that is pretty near and dear to my heart. This is going to be policies in Call of Dragons. Now, we have touched on this in our previous best practices beginner guide, but I thought it would be nice to kind of do a solo focus on it and where we dive just a little bit deeper than usual. So we're going to be going over our preferences on priority order for what you're going to be focusing on here in the policy section, and I'll give you some reasoning and explanation on why I think this is more of an ideal way to start. Again, remember that a lot of the times this content is more specifically focused for free to play, and obviously if you decide to spend or use your red gems to boost any of these and basically accelerate them faster, of course it's always up to you. With all that being said, if you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and of course you can join and be a part of our conversation. Find a link to that for the Discord, which is going to be in the pinned comment description down below. So I'm probably going to keep this somewhat shorter. I don't think it's really going to be that long, but let's just kind of dive right in. So I think the most important thing here when we're looking at policies is going to be your War Studies. That's your Hero EXP bonuses. And so it's going to be War Studies 1 and then War Studies 2. So that way you're going to be able to kind of get that max, right? You got the 7.5% there for 2, and then we have the 5%, right? So you're going to get to what, 12.5% on the Hero XP bonus. And then we're going to go into military expansion, which kind of by design, and you'll see this here, right, which is your Legion capacity. I think this is really important when it comes to increasing gathering capacity and then increasing capacity for your PvE and your PvE and PvP marches, which I think is just going to play a little bit more of a benefit than if we kind of went into something that we'd go into next, right? Because you have that, then you have your military expansion 2, and then you have 3. Which is, oh gosh, I had just passed it, right? We got military expansion 1, there it is, I forgot, it's top middle there on that column. And then you also have your military expansion 3, which you can get up to 12,000. Military expansion 2 is coming in at 7.5, so we're going at 19.5, and then we get to 1 for 4, so we're looking at 23.5 thousand for Legion capacity. Then the next one here, and these are kind of ones I want to point out that you're really going to kind of do by default, and just to kind of give you the point out, right? In order for me to max War Studies at 15, I had to get Targeted Tactics 2 to 15, right? This is peacekeeping damage, right? And then I had to get War Studies to 10, which gives me 5%, and I had to get Targeted Tactics to 10 here. In order to get this to 10. Artifact actually only had to get to 7 out of 10, which then allowed for me to go in here. So this is kind of your bare minimum that you would do. This is me min-maxing the way that I normally would. So once I get War Studies to 15, I'll have Targeted Tactics at 15, or Targeted Tactics 2 here at 15, and 1 at max out of 10, then it's really just artifact expertise whenever I come back to it. But once I get my War Studies maxed, then I'm going to go into military expansion, whatever I have to do to max that out. And then after that, I'll go back into artifact. The reason why is because artifact expertise is just a percentage to increase. It's not a flat rate, right? Now, even though, yes, that's good, I just don't think that that's as valuable as looking at other areas that are giving me flat rates, which allow for me to have more units, which are by definition going to do more damage because I'll sustain and last longer in fights, whether it's PvP, PvE, or even gathering, to have more transport units, which means I'll be able to gather higher nodes sooner and earlier than if I waited, right? Combining that with leveling those heroes as well. Then next, we get to ranged drills. And I think I talked about this a little bit, right? I think the benefit of doing ranged, if you're free to play, is that you can kind of do your micro-kiting for PvE and even PvP. So I just think ranged plays a little bit better of a factor if you're free to play to kind of start off first. And that's more general universal range damage. So that's your ranged drills, 1, which you can get to 5%, and then ranged drills 2, which you can get to 7.5. So you're looking at 12.5% there. And then really it's just a matter of starting to look at these ones, right? You have infantry, cavalry, marksman, right? So you got marksman and magic, just depending on what you're doing. And I might have to get a clarification on this to make sure that this isn't siege just because of the picture, or maybe but again, it says increases magic unit damage. So my assumption is that marksman probably is for the non-magic people, like the ones that are just shooting their arrows possibly, but I think it would be nice to get a confirmation just to check and make sure this isn't siege. But let's just say that if it is siege, right, then you probably would just do magic. If it's not, and this applies for the other side of ranged units, maybe it includes siege in that, then it's just a matter of, right, which one you would do at that point. But I think focusing on ranged first before you kind of go to melee is really important. And then I think at this point, this is when you start looking to do your right, either or. So maybe you'll do magic and this. So you can kind of have your ranged and siege, because again, technically they're both, before you really start diving into your infantry, right? Maybe next you're going to start focusing on your healing, right? So I have right, increases daily resource healing, right? In my opinion, we touched on this a little bit in the best practice guide video, but I actually believe that increasing my daily resource healing is better than me increasing my daily free healing. Why? Because if I'm gathering at a fast and a high rate from applying what we talked about in gathering, and I'll probably make a separate video for that, but you can check out what I touched on that in the best practices guide for new players and beginners for fast leveling. I really feel that it's better for me to do RSS healing increases rather than doing daily free healing increases, because if I'm gathering at a high and a fast rate, I'll be able to heal more troops on a daily average than I would be getting from the free healing, right? Because the free healing is on a set timer. You don't really control that. So that's why I think doing daily resource healing, something that's more focused on that, so going into medical supplies, medicine stockpiles, right, increasing the daily resource healing. Same thing here, right, where I'd go healthcare development, daily resource healing based on percentage of total legions. I'd rather do that than I would free. So again, I'll probably go healthcare here and then healthcare reforms. Same thing if I do this, right, healthcare development, further increase daily resource healing. So I'll do medical supplies, right, for this one where it says medical development, medical seminars. Oh, wait, I think that was it. Further increases daily resource healing. Yeah. So it'll be, am I tripping? Further increases daily resource. Yeah. So medical supplies and then recruitment, right? So that's where we'd go for that. Oh, I'm sorry. It goes this way. That's why I was looking at it like down, but it's actually going across. So, yeah, in this case, I think doing, right, like these ones you can see further increases daily resource healing, based on percentage of total legions, and then it goes into right, then if I did this, further increases daily free healing. So I would do the resource here and then medical supplies, and I have medical recruitment, right, daily resource healing. So actually, oh, never mind, I guess it does do both. Wow, I was so trippy for a minute. But yeah, basically doing the daily resource healing instead of doing the free healing that you can do, I think is the most important. And I think pretty much that kind of breaks it down. The other ones that are really here is the barricade and the improved barricade that you'll do. Gem prospecting you kind of have to do at that point, but I think that pretty much covers everything on what I would do for my policies. So again, I hope that this kind of in-depth full breakdown on policies makes some sense on what I would recommend doing if you're free to play, and kind of the priorities that you would focus on one by one. And again, if you agree, if you disagree, even if you have just a different approach, right, let me know in the comments down below. I hope this video helps out as many of you as possible so you can be as efficient and effective in progressing and min-maxing your account. That's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.